let's knock out some scatter terrain and some Op 4 minis. That's opposing force minis, you know, monsters and bad guys, you know, for a game session that's right around the corner. So speed painting is the name of the game, and all the stuff I'm working on today, it's got to be done in one day. Game on. Both of the swords in the background are crooked, and I don't know why. Greetings, good humans, and welcome to Tabletop Alchemy, where sometimes we do a real YouTuber type of thing, and we try to get a table full of terrain and minis done in one day. It's not something I typically like to do, but, you know, maybe it's growing on me. We also thank our patrons for supporting such valiant efforts at hitting deadlines. At least I think it was a valiant effort. You may disagree. All right, so, you know, to keep in the spirit of things, let's go. Now, I'm going to start with a dry brush palette and some plastic scatter terrain I yanked out of some older GW box sets. I airbrushed these pieces with Stynylrez brown primer, just because, I don't know why, thought it would work as a good base, and I'm going to make use of some paints I hardly ever use, not because I think they're bad or anything. They're actually great paints. I just don't use them too much now that I use a lot of the contrast style paints, right? Like the Vallejo Express colors and Citadel's contrast paints. And we're gonna go at these terrain pieces with some foam instead of a brush to start with, just to see if that helps us, you know, go fast and get the most coverage in the least amount of minutes. I'm just mixing and matching colors. I'm putting down some brownish grays and olive drabs to go with the gaming mat I have, and also the flock I know I'm gonna put down on these things later. Now, there's no rhyme or reason here, which is, you know, my favorite way to speed paint. I'm just dusting them down with sponge until I feel that, you know, enough's enough or whatever. Then I decided to go in with a puffy brush and some lighter dry brush colors to pick out some more dramatic highlighting. And the sponge could probably have done the same thing, but, you know, the brush is fun to use and, you know, it's going to work. So I just rolled with it. I even started to brush on some white because, of course, I'm going to shade this all back down with washes in the end. It's my signature technique. Come on. Keep up. And I just went piece by piece with each stage, assembly line style. I'm just going for a stony sort of look for these pieces. I'm not going to get into picking out different materials and different colors or whatever, because there's no time for that. They just need to look good enough to stand miniatures on while we're drinking beer and cracking jokes and rolling dice. Now, with all the painting done on these things, I decked out my little tray in foil and a paper towel so that I don't get wash all over the painting desk. See? I'm not all dumb. Then I pulled out some old Army Painter washes and the standard triplet of old GW washes, because I'm just going to hose these things down willy-nilly, not a care in the world. It's surprising how much fun going fast makes this hobby. Now, I just mixed and matched some different washes here and there, and look, I even got real artist fingers going on. I'm covered in washes and paint. Normally, I hate that sort of thing, but today it feels right. Just getting in there, no holders, just grabbing terrain and washing it down, all ham-fisted style. Is ham-fisted style a style? It is now. And then these things got to dry. So while that happens, it's time to tackle the stack of minis I've got on another tray off camera and get them painted up. So I'm starting with these blood bats. These minis are from the Cursed City box set, and I've got 6 of them. And they're getting mostly just a single coat of some red express color. I added a touch of brown to tone the red down just a little bit, and I'm just dousing these things in it. Now, I did put a little bit of straight brown express color onto the bodies here and there, but mostly I'm just hoping a single coat of express color will be good enough. I grabbed this Rattling Grime contrast paint to hit the stone pillars the bats are connected to, and I just put that on every base and, you know, kept rolling. I grabbed a couple of my Golden High Flow paints to douse the bases in. These are kind of like Golden's version of contrast paints, but they are more opaque, and I find them very useful for terrain because they are high flow. Anyway, I put the green down first, and of course it was too bright, like I thought it might be, and that's why I added the Payne's Gray, which just dulled the green down a bit. Not too much, but a little bit. Everything was going pretty quick and not too bad, so I thought I could take a couple of extra minutes and add a single bit of detail to the blood bats. Again, just darkening the main torsos where they were clearly visible, and I used a little bit of greasy black, and then I just started using some straight brown paint again for that. Now, I have a couple of giant spiders to take care of, so I hit the first one with my favorite greasy black express color, and I hit the other one with some crazy blue. just to make them different. Now, the blue I chose is on the bright side, which is cool for a fantasy giant arachnid, right? And then I decided on a whim to add some purple, just because. I used that to blend out the ends of the legs, and again, just kept on rolling. Now on the greasy black spider, I thought it was looking a little bit plain, so I went in with a quick jab of some of the bloodbath red that was still on the palette, and those little bits of color actually ramp it up a notch. Then, I don't know why I did this next bit, but I grabbed some pale gray and decided to flick spray it onto the blue spider for a little bit of added detail. It's not exactly really how I would have done this had I not been speed painting. It just is what it is at this point. Then it's on to the two hanging skellies here, both of them pointing the way to success, and I just hit them with an express bone color and doused the wood structured parts in a dark brown and a lighter greenish brown. Again, just because, I don't know, get a little variation in there. And there's the hanging guy that we made a couple of videos ago, and he's about as much of a pain in the butt to paint as I thought he'd be, because he's just swinging on chains. So again, I let my fingers get dirty, and I just slung the paint like the madman I am. I did up his base in Quellia green shade, because, see, madman comment from before, and I don't know why I do the things I do, I just do them and worry about it later. And then last I had these two crows on broken pillars to paint up, so I threw some express color on the pillars and some greasy black on the bird, which eventually I did go over again in straight black, and then I moved on to the spider base, which just needed a quick wash, and then apparently I did the thing. That dreaded videography thing, where, you know, you press stop when you mean to press record. I did that, evidently, because this little clip here is the only shot I have of flocking the terrain pieces. All of them. That's the only clip I got. Oh, and I have this, you know, this short little clip here also of dry brushing the figure bases. Yep. But hey, here they are, all flocked up. I told you I did it. Yeah, these are totally acceptable. I mean, to me, for a one-day speed painting and flocking extravaganza. In reality, I probably spent around 10 hours doing this entire bunch of minis and terrain, not counting the assembly and priming process. But now I've got 6 painted up bloodbaths, a couple of extra giant spiders to add to the collection of playable minis on the table. I've got the hanging bodies for that one scenario that calls for them, and the 2 crows for whatever they'll be useful for. And all in all, this whole scatterbrain terrain project has been successful. And why do I call it successful? Because I got it all done in time. And that's what mattered. So get your speed paint on if you got a game coming up. Who are your best friends? Flock and washes. Washes and flock. Go flock it up. See ya.